Hi, my name is Bianca Zamora and I am your credit coach. I am so grateful that you have taken time out of your day for me and to learn more about my credit repair program. Today, I'm going to go over a few free credit repair and credit coaching strategies that will help you to better understand your rights as a consumer and your options for repairing your credit. Be sure to like and share this training, and as always, my links are listed in the description below. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's go ahead and get the legal stuff out of the way. So essentially, we just want to let you know that as far as repairing your credit, you do not have to hire anyone to help you fix your credit, okay? Anything that we do, you can do yourself for free. All you would have to do is access your own credit reports and then start communicating directly with either your creditors or the credit bureaus, okay? You have the right to receive a free copy of your credit report, okay? And you can access this credit report through an official website called annualcreditreport.com. Even though it says annual in the name, right now they are allowing you to access your credit report every week. So you can literally go there every week and get a copy of your full credit report. If you do decide to hire a credit repair company, you can still cancel any agreement within 3 business days without any penalty or obligation, okay? So that means that you can sign up and cancel within 3 days and you don't have any other obligation to any company, okay? And then lastly, if you disagree with the way that any item is listed on your credit report, you have the right to add a comment or a statement that just expresses why you disagree with the information. Now, this comment or statement does not change the status of the account or your credit score, but it is going to be visible to any lender that reviews your credit. So if there's something that you do want to let a lender or a creditor know, that's what you should include in your consumer statement, okay? Now, when it comes to making your credit better, right, we need to focus on the main components of your credit score, right? So the 2 biggest components of your credit score are going to be payment history and amounts owed, right? Payment history can comprise anywhere between 35 to 40% of your credit, whereas your debts owed can be anywhere between 30 to 20%, right? So essentially within these 2 categories, you're going to have both negative and positive influences, right? So if you are paying your accounts on time, that's going to be positive payment history. If you are not paying them on time, that is going to be a negative factor in your payment history, right? Same thing with debt. You can have both positive and negative debt. Positive debt would again be anything that you're paying on time, like a car loan or a credit card. Negative debt is going to be things that you haven't paid on time, like a collection or a charge off, right? So all we have to do is maximize the positive information and reduce or eliminate as much of the negative information as possible, right? So how do we do that? Well, as far as building, establishing, managing, maintaining good credit, right? That is something that's actually not that hard. As long as you have some guidance on, how to do that, that is like the easiest part of the process. Now, the great part about our credit repair program is that we include a custom credit coaching and mentoring session with you specifically to meet your particular needs and situation, right? So we're going to teach you how to apply for credit cards so that you can maximize your chance of approval. We are going to let you know what accounts to apply for, specifically based on your credit profile, your credit score, and also how to maximize your credit mix. We are going to give you access to our credit rebuilder list of over 50 lenders that already work with our clients to build and establish their credit. We are also going to show you how to utilize your account so that you can maximize your credit score. We're going to teach you how to manage any existing accounts, how to maximize your existing accounts, how to apply for auto loans, how to deal with student loans, how to utilize authorized users, and so much more. So any questions that you have about your credit, how to build it, establish, maintain it, and all these things we're going to go ahead and automatically include in our program, and we're going to teach you how to do it so that hopefully you never have to utilize our service again. Okay. The hardest part about having good credit is removing the negative activity that may be there, right? So there's really only 3 ways that you can legally remove negative information from your credit report. Okay. And these are based on your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. So your 3 options are this: you're either going to have to wait, negotiate, or dispute. Right? So the waiting period is for the statute of limitations to expire. The negotiation is to try to negotiate directly with your creditors, and the disputing is to, file disputes with Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. Now, which one of these options are going to be best for you will really depend on your situation, but today we can go ahead and go over just, an overview of what your options are within these 3, paths, and figure out, just educate you on what's, involved in that process. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with waiting for the statute of limitations. Now, waiting for the statute of limitations just basically means you're going to wait for that particular item to expire off of your credit report. Okay, so the good part is that negative information cannot stay on your credit report forever. The longest that most negative items can remain is 7 years. All right, there's 2 exceptions, which is bankruptcies and inquiries, right? So bankruptcies can remain on your credit report for up to 10 years, right? Some bureaus will remove Chapter 13 bankruptcies after 7, but this is not consistent across all 3 credit bureaus, right? And keep in mind, dismissed or discharged bankruptcies fall under the same statute. So it doesn't matter if you didn't go through with it, it can still remain for up to 10 years, okay? And then also key note is it's 10 years from the filing date, okay? Not from the discharge or dismissed date. So the date that you filed, it would be 10 years from that date, okay? The good news is that tax liens and judgments are not currently reporting on the credit report, so you don't really have to worry too much about tax liens or judgments right now. Hard inquiries, so that's when, lenders check your credit and try to approve you for a loan or a credit card or some type of extension of credit. These can only remain for up to 2 years, again, from the date that they occurred. And pretty much everything else, which includes collections, charge-offs, late payments, repos, foreclosures, late payments, anything like that, is only going to be 7 years, okay? But it's 7 years from the last date of activity. So what does that mean? Last date of activity is supposed to be the last date that a payment is made on that account. So if you open an account in 2015 and you stop paying it in, let's say, 2020, then unfortunately you would have to wait until 2027 for that item to fall off on its own, again, unless anything else changes, right? Now, you do have to keep watching the creditors. Even if you decide to wait 7 years, you still have to monitor your credit, because unfortunately, when debts are sold or transferred or just reported, to the credit bureau, sometimes that last date of activity is changed, right? It's not supposed to be, but it is. So you really have to watch for that and make sure that the creditors are not illegally extending the amount of time that they can remain on your credit. Okay, so that's the waiting game. And again, you can do it. Most of our clients, don't want to wait for items to fall off because there's things that they need to do sooner. Right? So second option you have is to negotiate directly with your creditors, right? So most of the times you're going to be told, oh, don't, negotiate with your creditors. This doesn't help, blah, blah, blah. Well, in some cases it can help to negotiate with your creditors. So I'm going to go over those scenarios with you. So the first case in which if you do pay something, it will actually help is if that creditor agrees to take the item off of your credit report in exchange for your payment. Now, this can be kind of tricky because sometimes creditors and collection agencies use tricky language to make it seem like they're going to take the entire account from your report when really maybe they're only taking the balance off or something like that. So it's always really important to make sure you get it in writing as far as what you agree to do and what that creditor agrees to do in order to make sure that you are not taking advantage of. Okay. There are companies that will regularly remove negative information from your report in exchange for your payment. Those companies include Portfolio Recovery, Jefferson Capital, and then you can also talk to your local collection agencies. A lot of times they're willing, to take something off your credit report, if they're in your town. The second thing that can be helpful is if you have medical bills. So the credit bureaus did update their policy this year, and the good news is that if you do have a medical bill that is subsequently paid, the credit bureaus themselves are going to go ahead and remove that account from your credit report completely. So you don't have to negotiate that with the creditor. You can just pay the collection or settle the collection, and the credit bureau will automatically just take that medical bill off there. Okay, so this is effective after July 1st, 2022. Again, medical bills only. Okay. Aside from these two scenarios, if you basically pay any other delinquent account, that item is going to stay on your credit report. Okay. Maybe it's the only account that has a balance, so you pay it just to, get that negative balance off your credit. You may still see an improvement in your credit score because of that. But aside from these two scenarios that I just went over, if you pay or settle any other account that's in a negative standing, that item can be left on your credit report for up to 7 years, and you could restart the statute once you make that payment. So you just want to make sure that when you do pay, that the creditor agrees not to extend the statute. Okay, so that's negotiation, and again, this may be a good option for you, or it might not. Okay. The third option that you have is to file disputes with the credit bureaus. Okay, so this is a good strategy if you do not want to wait 7 years or 10 years for the items to fall off on their own, and if you either do not want to negotiate the balances, like if they're too high, or if the creditor is not going to negotiate it to your satisfaction, right? So they're just not going to take it off your credit report if you pay it. You may not want to do that. So in this case, you are going around those two things, and you're essentially contacting the credit bureau directly, and you're asking them to take information off of your credit report based on your consumer rights. Okay, and this is where we're going to implement the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, where within these two laws, there are certain procedures and policies that have to be followed whenever negative information is either collected or reported about you, or whenever debts are collected from you. And if you read these two laws, you're going to have a lot of information as far as what these procedures are and what they are supposed to be doing for you. Okay, so once you read the laws, you'll be able to pull the specific provision that you believe is going to be best suited to your particular situation or your particular account, and then you're just going to copy and paste that provision into a letter. Remember, the best results are going to come from an actual letter that is sent into the credit bureau. Okay, however, we do know that you can call or dispute information online, but be mindful that if you do it this way and the credit bureau puts it back on your credit report, you may not have that documentation to make sure that that item is permanently removed. So that's another reason why you want to send it in writing. Okay. Now, as far as your letter is concerned, after you put in the law that you're going to use for your dispute, you're also going to give them like a little comment or statement explaining, why you're asking these companies to take this particular item off your credit report, right? Why do they have to take action? You also want to specifically tell them what you want them to do, right? Do you want them to make a correction, right? Do you want them to make an update? Do you want them to delete something from your credit report? These three words all have different results, right? So an update is not the same as a correction. A correction is not the same as a deletion. So you have to be very specific as far as what you're asking the credit bureau to do for you. Then once you've kind of wrapped up the letter, you're then going to include your identification, okay? Do not just send in your letter. You have to send it in with your identification. Copy of your ID, a copy of your social, proof of your address. If you do not send your letters in with these three documents, the credit bureau will not respond to you, or they'll say, hey, we need proof of your identity, and they'll delay your outcome, right? Which is not good. And then you also want to make sure that you send your letters in by certified mail, okay? Certified mail, you're going to be able to track when the credit bureau received your request and how long they took to respond. The federal law says that they're supposed to respond within 30 or up to 45 days. So if they are outside of this response time, that is another violation, and that's another thing that you can use to get the credit bureaus to take action on your behalf. So this process would have to be repeated for each item that you have on your credit report, and then you would have to send individual letters to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax. So as you can tell, this process can be essentially pretty tedious and technical. So if you do not want to do this for you, that is why we are here, so that we can do this for you. Okay. I'm going to have links in the description where you can book an appointment to, go ahead and get a free consultation. We also will be creating a do-it-yourself kit where we'll give you the letters to use, the same ones that, we use to help our clients, except you're going to have to do all the mailing. But we also have a done-for-you service where it is full service. We do everything for you. You do not have to lift a finger aside from, just giving us any updates that you receive from our correspondence. Okay. So credit repair, right? There's lots of companies that offer credit repair service. What makes one company different from another, right? So the number one thing that I find that makes companies different from one another is their experience. All right. Our company has been around for 16 years, so since 2006. Within that time frame, we have helped thousands of people with their credit, right? So we have more experience and we are more knowledgeable as far as how to deal with certain situations, right? We also can tell you, hey, credit repair is not going to be the best option for you. You need to do this or you need to do that, right? But we're also going to be honest enough with you to say, hey, we can help you, or no, we can't help you, right? So that comes with experience. Secondly, you want to check to make sure that the company is licensed and bonded, right? So why does that matter? Well, if you're licensed, that means that the county or your state have checked behind this particular company to make sure that they're in proper standing, right? And that they're authorized to perform these services for you. If you use a company that's not licensed, well, who is overseeing what they're doing? Nobody. Okay. The bond means that you are insured, right? So the company being insured is really important because, again, we are dealing with people's sensitive information, socials, dates of birth, banking activity, credit reports. Got to make sure that that information is secure, and that's why you have the insurance, right, in case anything bad happens. So that's very, very important. And the third thing that I always recommend people check is either the Google reviews and or the Better Business Bureau profile. The Better Business Bureau profile is just an awesome resource for people that are looking for, additional information about companies, because the BBB is going to record any complaints or any problems that that company has, right? And this is without the company's consent. So it's not like a biased or a skewed impression of the company, right? The BBB is going to hold all the complaints. They're going to tell you how long the company's been in business or if there's any major issues, right? So always check the BBB. We have been BBB accredited since 2010 and we have maintained an A+ rating, okay? So really important things to keep note of. And also just do your research, check the business license for the company, check the bond, check, the years in business. Just check everything out, okay? Because if you don't, you could be taken advantage of, and nobody wants that. Okay. Now, as far as the service goes, right? So if you decide that you want to hire our company to help you, this is more than likely the program that we're going to recommend for you. But we do a customized review of your credit, again, just to make sure that this is going to be the plan. But I'm just going to go over this one because this is typically the one that you will more than likely need for your credit. So right now we would be doing the consultation, right? This is essentially what we're doing right now. The second step would be to review your actual credit report, right? Because we want to make sure, again, that the things that you have, we're going to be able to help you with. Once we kind of get through that, we say, yes, we can help you. We sign you up. The next step is going to be to complete what we call a personal information update. And again, we do this for you. So we are going to send in a request to the credit bureau, letting them know what is your correct name, your correct address, your correct social, your correct date of birth, just to make sure that they do have the correct information on file. Because believe it or not, a lot of times your information is listed on your credit report incorrectly. Well, if your name is John Smith II and you're on there as John Smith III, that is not you. Okay, so we need to fix that. So that's what the personal information update does. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to add security alerts to your credit. Now, this helps protect your identity, right? So your identity is so important. You got to make sure that you don't have people out there that can just run your credit and get a credit card without any verification, right? So the security alert is going to help with that. You don't have to have it, but we do highly recommend it. And then we're going to order the credit reports directly from the credit bureaus. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that we're not going to base, all of our work on an online report, because as we've discussed before, online reports are not 100% accurate or complete. So why would we use that, right? It doesn't make sense. So we are going to ask the credit bureaus to go ahead and send you a full copy of your consumer file. This consumer file is going to have all the information that we need to include in your credit disputes, and it's going to give us more data that we can use to help you get the best results. Okay, those reports are going to be sent to you, and then all we ask you to do is make sure you get that back to us once you get those reports. So once we have those credit reports, we are then going to complete a full audit of those reports with you. So we are literally going to go line for line, every single thing on that credit report, to make sure that we're addressing all the specific information that's important to you and that we know is important to your credit repair process, right? We go through all your names, all your addresses, all your employers, all the different socials, just everything that is in that consumer file we're going to go over with you, and we're going to make sure we address for you in the dispute letters. Okay. At that same time, we're going to give you that customized credit coaching session that we talked about before, where we're going to go ahead and let you know exactly how to maximize your credit score, right? We're going to give you all the tips, all the tools, everything possible to help you maximize your credit score, right? So, and it's going to be customized for you, meaning it's not going to be for, John Smith III. No, it's going to be for John Smith II based on your profile. What are we going to do for you? Okay. So that is going to be all included in that one session. Okay. Then from there, we're going to go ahead and process your disputes. So the other part of our company that makes us different from most other credit repair companies is that we do not use any credit repair software. Okay, so all of your letters are custom. We do not use the same letter for one person as we do for another. Everything is customized. And why is that important? Well, because your profile is different from everybody else's. So why would we use a letter that, we use for someone else for you? That doesn't make sense. So it is a customized dispute letter that we will prepare for you for every single negative item that you have. Okay, and that's the other thing. We work on all of your negative items at the same time, right? A lot of credit repair companies are only going to dispute one or two things for you at a time. Well, if you have 20 items, it's going to take you, 10, 12 months to even get through one dispute cycle, right? So we don't want to do that. We want to get you the maximum results in the shortest amount of time possible. And we're going to make sure that, we work on all those items simultaneously. We, again, want to maximize your score, shortest amount of time possible, so we dispute everything at the same time. Okay. Now we do still have to wait 30 to 45 days for those disputes to be completed. So, during that time, you're just going to be focused on doing your coaching or, implementing any other strategies that we give you. And then 30 to 45 days later, we're going to go ahead and go over your results, right? And usually at that point, we'll see tremendous results right away. Okay. Now, obviously, it varies from person to person, but we should, again, see measurable results within even the first set of disputes. Now, if all the items that we want get removed right away, then great, right? We don't have to do anything else. However, if you have items that still remain after that dispute, we're going to automatically go back in and do a second set of disputes to reinvestigate any items that may have not been corrected or deleted the first time. Okay. And we will do that again a third time if needed, right? So again, 3 rounds of disputes. Each time you should receive confirmation directly from the credit bureau as far as what items are being deleted. All you have to do is try to forward that to us if possible. If you can't, then, we understand. We'll go ahead and just access your reports online and, base everything, any future follow-up, on the online reports. But again, the physical reports are so important because those will document exactly what items got deleted for you. Okay. So if we have to go all 3 rounds, you're looking looking at approximately 4 months, to complete the whole program, which is a very, very short amount of time, especially considering that these negative items could have stayed for, 7 to 10 years. So that's in a nutshell the program. Some of the questions that were asked in most cases is, what kind of results can I expect? Well, it really depends on your situation. So that's why we are going to review your credit report. That's the next step. And that way we can give you more specific goals as far as what we will be able to do for you. But as far as like some frequently asked questions, some questions that were asked is, what happens if accounts are not removed from my credit report? So if accounts are not removed from your credit report through a dispute process, then we would need to default to one of the other two processes, which is either A, wait for the items to fall off on their own, right? The statute of limitations, or B, see if we can negotiate those accounts for deletion. Okay. Are the results permanent? So by law, right, if something is deleted from your credit report, it is not allowed to be put back on, right? So as far as our results go, yes, our results are permanent. However, we cannot control the collection agencies or the creditors. If the collection agencies or the creditors decide to transfer that account to another company, then, that is something that we have to watch for. As long as we have proof that the account was deleted, then we can just use that proof to re-dispute that item with the Bureau or to make the Bureau aware, because 99% of the time the Bureau doesn't even know. They're not monitoring that type of information. So we are going to just let them know, hey, this was deleted already and it was, illegally transferred to another company and put back on my report, and the credit bureau should re-delete that item from your credit. Okay. Are the services guaranteed? Yes, all of our services are guaranteed in writing. You are going to get a credit service agreement that is going to put in writing all the services that we are going to perform for you. Okay, so you are protected, we are protected, and we are authorized to do those services for you. Okay. The results. Are the results guaranteed? Okay. Now, one thing that we cannot control is the exact outcome of the program or your credit score, right? There is no company that can control a third party, and there is no company that can control your credit score, right? But we can give you a realistic expectation of what you can expect from the time, you start the program to the time that you finish, as long as no new negative challenges occur, right? We don't want to take on any customer that we cannot help, but the law is the law, right? So the law does not allow us to guarantee to you a certain credit score or a certain outcome, but we are going to do everything that we can to help you accomplish your goals. Okay. The last question that we're typically asked is, do I have to pay things that are deleted from my credit report? Okay, so typically you do not have to repay items that are deleted off of your credit report unless there is some kind of court order or federal statute. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you have a federal student loan, it may be that you might have to pay that federal student loan back or set up some other kind of deferment or repayment plan, right? If you have debts with the IRS or child support, right? Those might be court orders. So even if we get them off your credit report, you may have to do something else to deal with the debt. Okay. We are not debt negotiators. So, we do not do any kind of debt negotiation. There may be some accounts that you have to pay back based on court or legal orders. Okay. So, those are some of the most frequently asked questions. If you have other questions, please feel free to let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. So basically now, if you're ready to take the next step is to have me look at your credit report. Okay. Click on the link in the description below to set up your credit file review. I'm going to personally go over your credit reports with you to determine if you qualify for our services, right? Because remember, I only enroll clients who I know we can help. Right? We do have that money back guarantee, 100% money back if we don't get anything deleted from the credit report. So you do have that as, added security. We've never had to do it, guys. So I don't expect us to have to do that in the future. And that is, again, why we review every single person's report to make sure that we can help you. All right. Just keep in mind, having bad credit can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Okay. Invest in your credit now to save money tomorrow. Okay. This is is not something that you should be penny pinching on or being cheap with. Credit is going to impact all aspects of your life, and the better it is, the more money you're going to save, the more money you're going to be able to use to invest, and it just makes sense to fix it, right? It makes sense to fix your credit. As far as after we review your credit and, we're going to go ahead and move forward, have your documents ready, okay? We're going to need a copy of your ID or your driver's license or your passport. These are documents that we have to include when we send the letters out on your behalf to the credit bureau. So please have a photo or a copy of that document ready. We are also going to need proof of your social security number, okay? We're dealing with your credit, so we got to have proof that that social belongs to you, or that social security number belongs to you. So you got to have your social security card or a W-2 or some other tax document, okay? And in most cases, we also need a proof of address. So we need like a recent utility bill, bank statement, insurance statement, something like that, just to verify your mailing address to the credit bureau. It has to be recent, so it can't be like 6 months old. It has to be, within the last 30 to 60 days. You're also going to want to have your payment method handy, okay? You're going to want to have your debit card, your credit card, or your banking information handy so that we can actually, engage and get started. Once we kind of go through all the details and give you pricing, we are going to send you an agreement. So again, you're going to have everything in writing as far as what we're going to do for you. If you set up a payment plan, we're going to have your invoice so that you can see exactly what your payments are going to be and what your payment due dates are going to be. So there's no question as far as how much you're going to pay or how long it's going to take. Okay. Once you sign everything, that's going to give us the green light to go. Okay. And we are ready. I hope you are ready. Click the link below, set up your next appointment. Let's get this done. Okay. Just keep in mind, we are the only credit repair company that I am aware of that has certified FICO 8 professionals. Okay. I don't know any other company that has that. Okay. On top of that, just me personally, I have 20 years of experience, 15 years here with this company, and then I have 5+ years in wholesale and retail lending. So you are dealing with people that know what they are talking about. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. Again, I am so grateful that you took this opportunity to watch this training. I hope it provided you with education and it's just going to empower you to take the next step. I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you so much for your time.